Hey guys, this is Fan Confessions, the podcast of two fans, two friends, and the K-Wave. Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Stephanie.
And welcome to the place where we share our love for all things K-pop and our experience as fans.
So you might be wondering why we're here and why we called this channel Fan Confessions of all things. So I guess we'll get the elephant out of the room and get the first confession out of the way. So Lisa and I are in the 30 plus range for K-pop fans and Kdrama fans.
Yes, it may be very difficult for you to tell, considering that we are so youthful and glowing and lovely, but we are considered the mature fan in the room.
Definitely. And I mean, nothing wrong with that. We just would love to create, a space for everybody to feel comfortable talking about whatever their confessions might be, like ours right now, that we feel, comfortable talking to each other and that other people can feel the same.
Exactly. It's all about being able to share your experience as a fan with other fans, no matter where you are, what gender you are, what your orientation is. It's all very welcomed here. Definitely.
All right. So the question that I'm sure everyone is wondering about is how did both of us get into K-pop? So I'll start first. So essentially, it's been, I hate admitting this because it's over 10 years already, which is kind of crazy. But I would have been in college at the time, and I was in a totally different city. So I had managed to make a friend that was really into Japanese culture, and actually had grown up interested in Japanese culture as well. So I was like into a little bit of anime. I liked manga at the time, that kind of thing. And so she also was super into it, and she loved Japanese music. So she had me listen to some music, and I was like, okay, like at the time I sort of had heard some, and it wasn't exactly my thing, but I was intrigued by it. I mean, I always loved different cultures and experiencing that. So I was like, okay. And then she showed me this group, Super Junior. And so she told me about how Super Junior did things in Korean as well as in English. Or not English, sorry, Japanese. What am I saying? English. I mean, I'm sure they have English recording.
Yeah, totally.
But in Japanese and in Korean. And so I was kind of intrigued by that. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool that they have different languages for things. And so I didn't think too much at the time because I was kind of like, it's still not my vibe totally. But I got into, she had recommended some Korean drama. It sort of started there and immediately was hooked. I mean, some of them were like, I think my first one was To the Beautiful You. Which, I mean, a little extra. And like, so I was watching a lot of the ones too that there's a manga that there is a live action for. So kind of fun, kind of still not sure. And then I feel like it was around the time that Big Bang came out with Fantastic Baby.
Oh yeah.
That song really like cemented my, okay, this is really catchy. And the video is just so visually like ridiculous. You got G-Dragon with the giant hair. Right. So that's when I started really like thinking, okay, I think I might like this. So it kind of started spiraling from then on. And so you get an idea too of like the time of this. Everything's in English now, like song titles, artist names, and everything. So in order to listen to this music, and like Apple Music wasn't a thing either. Oh God, I'm dating myself. So all this didn't exist, or Spotify, whatever. It wasn't a big deal then. So I had to literally go on like blogs. So I was on like Korean K2N blog, which I believe still exists, download all my albums on there, and I would have no idea half the time what I was listening to. So
yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to find that song versus back then, eh?
For sure. Like, how am I gonna know anything about searching by a Korean character or anything? So a lot of Google searching was happening. It took me years to figure out some songs I really loved, who they were, like when I started to actually know these bands' names and things like that. So it was a very interesting kind of time and very organic way of discovering everybody. So like too, I was listening to BTS and didn't know they were BTS. Well, that sounds like so ridiculous right now, but I had listened to them for a couple of years before I even understood who they were and what it was about. So very skewed time. So then jump a couple of years, I've been interested in it, and I am back in my hometown, Winnipeg. No one in Winnipeg knows anything about K-pop at all. Like no one here is interested in that stuff. I am rekindling some friendships with old people I went to like high school with, still nothing there. And then I come across Lisa as a new person in my life. And we start to get a little closer, and I go to her house and I spot that bookshelf you were seeing in her background there. And so this bookshelf,
top shelf there.
Yeah, exactly, is filled with manga. And so, of course, my spidey senses are like, oh, she likes manga, does she? I was like, I feel like I can build a friendship here and I can maybe pull her over to the dark side. Because Lisa, at that time, you did not know what K-pop was, right?
I had absolutely no clue whatsoever. And I had no clue the diabolical little mind that was coming into my life and how wonderfully she introduced such great stuff and such, oh gosh, okay. So
was it great though? I feel like you questioned me real hard when I said you. So yeah, I would send her stuff.
Yeah, I can't say I was like gung-ho from day one. I was not. I think Stephanie was very much like, hey, we'd just be chatting and she'd be like, hey, like you should check this out. And I'd be like,
real slow.
What? I'd be like, what the heck is this? but she knew when not to give up.
True.
I remember one very memorable time she sent me a GOT7 video. As a I guess I'm very proud to say that is one of the songs that I think is the most adorable GOT7 song on the face of the planet. At the time, I was very much confused by the whole thing. It's like, why?
I still can't believe I said that to you, to be honest. I think about it now, and I'm like, why would I have sent that one of all? I mean, I'm pretty sure it was because it was super stuck in my head, and I was like, I don't understand why this song is so stuck in my head.
It is an earworm, and I think it was just what threw me off was Bam Bam floating in a fruit roll-up or fruit.
I love that part. I love the giant props and the fact that they look little. I thought that was so cool.
We love it now. At first, I was just very confused by the whole experience, but it got me a little intrigued. It sort of like stuck with me, as K-pop does for most of us.
Yep.
And Steph, I think what really got me more and more interested was Steph would share a few Kdrama links and like, oh, you should look at this one and this one. It was so like, if you like manga, you'll like drama, and like drama, I did.
I feel like that's the gateway.
Yeah, that is the gateway, because the storytelling and just like the whole very romanticized, just how polite everybody is towards each other was lovely.
Well, it's also wholesome, right? I don't know, something about wholesome television. I can't get enough of it now. I feel like television we're so used to is so like graphic, so violent a lot of time. Not that K-drama can't be violent or graphic at all, but it highlights different parts about like scenes, and it's like so much more intricate on the little moments and things that I don't know. I find it so beautiful.
Yeah, there's something about the back hug scene that makes every girl's heart flutter a little bit.
Well, the fact you're building up to wanting them to do something like that, or hold hands, or have a first kiss, versus wanting them, like, how often have you seen a TV show where they have sex within the first episode? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so much slower, and we savor like that moment of them just realizing feelings far more than anything else, I would think. And I don't know, I like that way more than having it rushed or overdone.
It definitely has its charm and appeal. It sort of like pulls you in for sure. Because like I can appreciate Game of Thrones and I can appreciate some other North American TV shows for their in-depth and like darker aspects, but there's something very charming and like Steph said wholesome about most, especially romantic comedy K-dramas that really like pull at your heart.
Totally. I feel like that's what they are king at. And yeah, we all could use a little bit of that in our lives. And then I would say, especially in what we're going through now, that's what I love about Korean culture is the positive energy from it. Definitely. And we all need a little more of that in our lives, I think.
Yeah. And I think it definitely pulls you in. So I think that is one of the main things that got me interested in Korean culture and different aspects of that, and with, of course, K-pop as well. It's sort of like a natural progression that you go into. And I think for me, when it really cemented the fandom was BTS Blood, Sweat, and Tears. It was an epic moment. Me and Steph watched the video together, I think for the first time. And I just remember my mind like,
yes,
what is this? Not the same what is this that I had before. A very much different, like, I need more of this. This is amazing. And so then and there, I joined the army. And that's history.
Oh man, I remember us watching that video and being like, Lisa, this is the best K-pop video of the entire year, or like ever. I was like, this is beyond, and I was like so excited, and I was like, this is like the future, and it's like so crazy to think of what they have accomplished now, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, I felt like I recognized in that moment that that's where it was going. But it's like, I feel like it took a while, but it's so exciting to see where it's come from, like all that time until now. So,
and then it was cool. Just go down the rabbit hole and envelop your mind in this like gloriousness, this genre of music that just speaks to you. Okay, so since we've sort of established how we both became fans, maybe we can get a little more into those groups that really pulled us in and became our first loves.
That sounds like a great idea. You want to start?
Sure. I think there's like two groups that really hold special places in my heart from when I first got into this whole magical world. And that would be GOT7 and BTS. So GOT7 is always going to be that group that's sort of like my gateway group. And BTS is going to be the group that cemented the whole need for more. So they are just an amazing, both sort of similar generation, but very diverse in their kind of music and their paths. And I think it took GOT7 a lot longer to become their own or coming into their own. And I think BTS sort of came out strong for me. But both really pulled me in and like made me like a serious fan.
So for me, it was obviously GOT7, clearly from the start, since apparently I don't even remember that, to be honest. I'm like, I can't believe that was the first video I sent you. But yeah, GOT7 was pretty key for me. Like, they were the first group I really got to know and knew the members of. They were like, I have a vivid memory of watching A when it came out. Which it wasn't their first single ever, but I had listened to a lot of their albums too. So they were one of the first few groups that listened to the entire album instead of just cherry picking a song here and there. But yeah, for sure, they definitely had a long way to go yet. And so like when Just Right came out, I feel like that's when they were kind of like hitting their like peak popularity a little bit more, and they really just like took off after that. So that was pretty exciting. I mean, in the beginning, I definitely was listening to BTS a lot. Like I said, I was listening to BTS, but didn't even know it was BTS.
Without
So
even
that's why it's like,
realizing, right?
yeah. So it's like I did really like them, but I didn't understand that's who I was listening to at the time. So I don't necessarily count it. The other one I would say that was up there when I first started. I mean, I did talk about Big Bang, but it's not them. It's actually EXO. So when Growl dropped, man, I remember this video like being so impressed, and I was showing people at work. I probably sent it to you, guaranteed I sent it to you. I showed it to a lot of non-K-pop people because the one camera shot, I was just so thrown back by it and impressed. And even now I look at it and it's like, it's kind of dated. Not really that cool, but at the time
But
it was
the song still holds its own.
yes, for
Something
sure.
that will never get old about Growl, and it must have like paid for a couple of SM buildings. Definitely.
Definitely. And I think like what really drew me in was vocals. So like EXO was like super like key on vocals. Like Theo is just I love him so much. And then you know, in GOT7, I love JB. I will talk about that more, but his voice got me for sure from the start. Like in A, I just remember I couldn't keep my eyes off of him, and in general, and that's what got me started. Okay, I got to learn who these people are and learn more about it. So that's kind of my start.
Like Steph, like you get somebody grabs your attention in the group. Like for me, I think for me, I really become a fan of a group when I see their personality as people 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my first biases was Jackson from GOT7. And I think because I saw the reality show Roommate he was in.
Yes, I think we watched that together.
And just something about his personality and just how vibrant he was, and he just sort of like pulls you in. And I think when I really like a group, it's because they're a group that's like a family, that they really show that they care about each other and that they're a team. And I think that kind of dynamic is what really makes me a fan of a group. And it sort of led me to the groups that I'm sort of getting into now. Like for me, it's Stray Kids. I am a major stay. And Steph laughs because I'm always trying to work her into the Stay Kingdom, but she's still a little resistant right now. But we'll get there.
Oh, hey, I'm coming over. I promise. These past 2 years have been kind of unreal for them, I think. But yeah, I was very hesitant at first. So like, I guess for me, part of the age thing is there's some things now I'm finding out that are coming out in K-pop music that I'm having a hard time getting on board with. Like a lot of with, like not that it's bad, but it's just not that I'm feeling like it's for me or my vibe. So groups like Stray Kids and ITZY, for example, is another one that's come out that I've had a hard time getting on board with, because I feel like it is skewed kind of young at first. And then when Stray Kids first came out, I felt like they had a lot more like cheering and like rah-rahing in the way that they performed. And it wasn't that it was bad. I just didn't feel myself engaging as much with it at first. But they have definitely matured and evolved. And Lisa obviously can prove me wrong a million times over, and I'm happy to let her do so.
But I think for you, there was also sort of like the transition to the next, like 17 is still a big
deal. Right? Oh, for sure. So like one of my new loves, well, not new, I would say, but like over the past couple of years has been 17. So I remember when they first came out, and they were very bubblegum poppy too when they came out, and they were quite young. And I liked the song. I can't say I was invested in it as much. It took me a little while to understand what was going on there. But oh man, that group has impressed me beyond belief. I love synchronization, and like the dancing is one of my favorite things. and they to me are absolute top. And the fact there's so many of them and they do it so flawlessly, I can't. So I think it was like with Don't Wanna Cry. It was beyond perfect, and I was so overly impressed. And so I went back and learned everything, and then so that was like one of my feats, was learning every one of them, because that is a big group to know all the
13
names.
members knowing all their names, yes.
Yeah, and I get stressed out about that. I'm not usually, it takes me a long time to start feeling comfortable enough to learn a group's name. I have to really like them a lot. So that took me a while, but now I can say I do know them all, and I'm very proud about that. And I get super hyped for anything that they come out with. So very excited. And oh, his dream is to see them in concert one day for sure, as I'm sure for you. Stray Kids is the same. And I will say you won me over, Lisa. You have won me over. I am definitely into Stray Kids now, far more than I probably would have been a few years ago. So good job.
I'm very proud. Yeah, it was hard work, but like I was passionate and I was dedicated.
Oh, for sure. I've bought Lisa a couple of albums. So I'm trying to make sure I'm familiar with who she loves the most, because I don't want to disrespect that by any means. And I know she has good taste, so I know there's something I just haven't taken the time to consider. That's all it was. I think I just needed some time to find something I really loved, and
Well, it
yeah.
took me a little while to get into a lot of things too. So you worked hard on a few.
It's a two-way street. We figured that out really well.
I think Astro was one of those groups that you worked a little hard to get me into.
Yes, you know what? They are one of the ones I feel like are so underrated.
So
Esther has this like a soft spot in my heart, because so like you said too, the family thing. So anytime I've like committed to watching a variety show, which I'm not as into variety as Lisa is, like Lisa's the variety queen, I would say. Um, but I had happened to watch Astro, a few episodes of Astro's launch when they were debuting. Because they had a whole show, I think it was like Astro Go or something. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but and I fell in love with them. Like, they were the cutest. And I remember though, like, it's same idea though, that they were very young when they came out. Like, their songs are super bubblegum, like in the first while. And I appreciate it far more now, probably, than I did when it first came out. Because I kind of like, I like their personalities, and I was like, okay, I'll see where they go. But now again, they're another group that, wow, they have grown up into something that is unreal. And that's the fun part about it too, right? You see them age and mature, and then when they get to a certain level, I mean, now for us, what we like and are looking forward to, it's like super exciting. And so I was so happy to pull you over into the Astro Moonbin camp, to be specific. But yeah, I mean, all those guys are super talented though. But yeah, so that's another great one. And then one that I think both of us are super passionate about now is Ateez. I think we can agree about that one.
Oh, definitely. I think right from the get-go, like I didn't, when they were KQ fellas, I didn't really know about them very much. I discovered those videos a little later.
Yeah, me too.
It's just sort of like when they came out with Pirate King.
Yeah.
And I think Say My Name really
drove home.
So that the walking dance people.
And Woo Young's expression. I remember. I was like, I love these guys. Yeah. But I do remember when Pirate King came out. So this was, I think, when Lisa started now telling me when she loved stuff a lot more. So like, obviously Stray Kids she had been interested in, but I remember her being like, Steph, you have to check out this group. You like, they're new, but they're like, I can already just tell, like, it's gonna be great. And I was like, yeah, okay, like I could kind of see it. And I'm like, definitely, I was like, this is so much Lisa's vibe. I 100% know why she's interested in them. And then I was like, yeah, okay, I can see it. But I was the same. It was like Say My Name and Holla Holla. Really, I don't know. And the vocals, oh,
Amazing.
Jungko's my favorite.
Oh my God.
So,
It's like
oh,
the fact that the man can sing that well and break fruit at the same time.
so one of my favorite moments ever. I don't know. I just everything about them. I love their storylines, like the fact everything connects to each other, which I mean, I think that's kind of like the BTS thing that everyone loves too, is that there's like a storyline and like something you can look at that connects. And they are just like such strong like concept kings there. So
The
yeah.
performance, the level of performance, like I watch so many reactions. I don't know about you, but I watch so many
Yeah.
reactions where they're like, this group feels like a veteran group.
Yeah. Right
They've
out
been
the
out
gate.
like a year or less than a year, but right out the gate, their performance and their professional quality of their performance was just blow your mind worthy. It was just
Yeah.
amazing.
For sure. And so it's like I feel like now we've gotten to the point they're one of those groups I just expect when it comes out. I'm gonna love it and I'm excited. And their albums are super repeat worthy for me. I enjoy listening to them. It's very hard, I guess I would say. That was the only thing I had to struggle with when I started with K-pop compared to now. I remember there was a time where I had only listened to like select tracks and then the rest of the album wasn't nearly as good as those like tracks that they wanted to put out there as the popular track. So I was having a hard time like really loving artists on full, but like someone like Ateez and like BTS and some of these other groups, like I can listen to the album beginning to end, and I may not love every song to the same degree I love certain songs, but I really enjoy the B-sides and I enjoy like theirs is like a journey for me. I find listening to their album, and not all artists I can say do that very well. But
Yeah, they tell us,
they
don't they?
right, even in the parts, like I think when they do the 1, 2, 3, so very interested to see where the fever one is going right now. I'm really enjoying the vibe of it too and where that's going. So I think we're on what part 2 now is the latest. Yeah. So yeah, super stoked for whatever they're gonna do next. But yeah, that's definitely our one we share a lot of love about lately. So now that we discussed, what we're listening to right now, let's talk a little bit about what we're watching right now. So Lisa, what are you watching?
Well, I'm in one of those transition periods between shows as us K-drama fans tend to after one series ends and you're trying to desperately decide what you're going to watch next. But there is a movie on Netflix that I'm looking forward to seeing. It's called Nevalira, which I'm probably 100% saying wrong, but feel free to correct me in the comments or anywhere else, and I would be happy to know how to pronounce it properly. It's one of those, based on the trailer, it seems to be one of those stories of sort of like addressing the intergenerational gap between the older and the younger generation. And strangely enough, it's like the vehicle they're using is ballet in so an older Korean gentleman and a younger Korean man sort of build a relationship around these kind of things. And it's looking like one of those movies that are really gonna pull at your heart. So I'm looking forward to that. How about you?
Nice.
Anything you're looking forward to?
Um, so I am actually in the middle of enjoying Flower of Evil right now, which I would 100% recommend the show to anybody. Never mind if you are interested in K dramas or not. It has been, I've watched a lot of dramas, and so I think Lisa will attest to. I'm a serial watcher. I jump around all the time. I have a hard time really committing to shows. And this one had got me right from the start. I haven't had a show where I wanted to binge as much as I wanted to keep getting to the next episode with this one. So the actors are absolutely fantastic. So super highly recommend. But basically, it's about a woman that's a cop, and her husband, who in the beginning you're supposing he potentially is a killer or that there's something like evil about him, but you don't really know the truth, and she doesn't know anything about it either, and it's kind of like them evolving together. So it's almost like this guy that's having two lives a little bit. But yes, portrayed super well. Lots of twists and turns, super exciting. Like I said, 100%. I've been recommending it to people at work. I've been talking to lots of people about it. Super stoked about it.
Well, it must be good for you to watch more than like an episode at a time. So that's impressive. I'm gonna have to put that on my watch list for sure.
It's a commitment, right? Like a lot of these K-drama shows, the episodes are at least an hour long, if not an hour and a half sometimes. And when you are not a native Korean speaker, you are constantly reading the subtitles and you have to be engaged 100% to know what's going on. I mean, as we grow, like, I don't know, if for me, I'm starting to get more comfortable, so I'm a little less, I can detach a little bit more, but it's definitely a commitment. And so it has to be a super compelling show for me to really want to watch more than that, because our lives are busy. So to say we're going to spend 4 hours watching something, that's a chunk of time taken out of your life. So
yeah, that's commitment.
Yeah, so I've had some late nights watching this one. So I would, yeah, definitely up there for me. Something else I'm keeping my eye on and super excited about is I like to watch a lot of the reality shows and survival shows. So Kingdom's coming up in April, which is like super close. Oh, it's super exciting. And Ateez is going to be in there. We were excited. Stray Kids. I mean, this is going to be, it's going to be so unreal. Even BTOB, like excited to see some older groups and Icon. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Icon was a surprise, definitely.
Yeah, I think we were all wondering who was going to be in the show and how they were all going to connect. And I don't know. I'm just super stoked to see what's going to come out of this. So that's my new thing I'm like looking forward to. Is there anything else you're looking forward to?
I don't know. Okay, so when we're filming this, ladies and gentlemen, it is the eve of the 2021 Grammy Awards.
Right.
And I am very much excited to see what happens if BTS will get their first Grammy tonight. And oh my god, I'm so nervous and excited, and I just like can't wait to watch it. So that's We'll have to discuss the subsequent
aftermath
afterwards. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's definitely a very interesting time for awards. I think now a lot more critical eye on that. I think we just saw that with the Golden Globes. So curious to see here, and I know that the K-pop community has been kind of up in arms and hoping that something's going to come out of this finally. I mean, we all know they deserve it. I 100%. Think now the world's starting to know that they deserve it too. So it might be a very exciting night for us. So we'll see.
I'll get my army bomb ready, and we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I'm all good to go too, as you can see. So yeah, and then I guess the other thing I wanted to talk about is a little bit is my own like transition with my life right now, and something that I'm loving and keeping like K-pop in my life with is I find it like really hypes me up in general. So right now I am trying to be healthier. So I've actually been doing a lot of workouts at home with Kpop, and I am like super stoked out there with all the resources. So I used to love Zumba and do a lot of that. Like I said, I love the dancing part about it. So I have been using that to fuel my workout, and it's actually been super successful. So yeah, it's kind of a lot of things in my life are revolving around it right now.
Well, yeah, it's such a great way because it's something you really enjoy and keep you interested and help you get through a good workout that would normally be tough to do, right? So if anybody else is looking for this kind of resource, I'm sure Steph would be more than happy to share some links.
Oh yeah, I've made some playlists, and there's some people I've been looking into that I think I'm going to start contributing to their Patreon, because there is a lot of good content out there and people working hard and that deserve, some attention for what they're doing and the quality of it. So I can definitely go into that if anyone ever is interested. But yeah, it's been my motivator. Like I own a Peloton and I love my Peloton. But if they had a K-pop class on Peloton, do you understand how motivated I would be? Like I'm lucky if I can get like a Blackpink song in there. I don't know if Dynamite's on there. I haven't necessarily come across that, but I know there's been Blackpink for sure. But if someone did curated a K-pop class, holy hell, I would be on that thing, no problem. And I mean, there's other music I like, and for sure that it gets me going. But right now, I don't know. It's just that fun factor and songs that I'm like super into right now, and hearing that is really driving me feeling motivated to do it. So it's kind of a funny thing. I feel like it's like $1 million idea here. Peloton doesn't feel my idea, but maybe do because I still want to see it. I don't know.
Exactly.
Give me a little cred.
I'm already subscribed. Give me more.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm up to right now. And I think, yeah, everyone's excited for a bunch of, like, there's just so much going on right now. There's so much good content out there. So I think we're definitely, you can expect us in the next coming episodes to continually be talking about what's current and what's exciting and what we're excited about. And I think we're going to, bring some things to the table and try to introduce each other to some new things. And then make sure we're recording it.
Yes, exactly. And it'd be also great to hear some other perspectives and some other, like maybe out there somebody is really excited about something that we haven't heard of yet. And we'd love for other people to introduce us to some new things and new exciting and like really fun things in the genre.
Yeah. Or like prove us wrong. Like maybe we have an opinion on something. Like, I talked a little bit about SC and Stray Kids and whatever, and I might have had an opinion about it. Prove me wrong and show me why I should love it. Like I love moments like that kind of, I don't know. It's just, that's why it's fun to talk to other people about what you love, right? So definitely think it's a community for people to come forward and share what they're interested in. So like I'd ask you guys like after we talked about this, I'd be curious to see what got other people into K-pop and K-dramas, and what do you love about it?
Yeah, so
like I really would love to see that.
Yeah, definitely share your story. We'd love to hear it for sure.
So I think that's all we've got for today. So thanks for tuning in and listening to us chat. So we're always looking for new perspectives, like we said, and we'd love to hear from you about how you enjoyed today's show, or if you've got any additional comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. All right. So stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.